Hi guys, Edith here from Collection Inédith, and today's project is the block of the month for February 2020, and it is a Betty Boop placemat. The size of this project is 19 inches wide by 15 inches high, and the instructions, the fabric and thread requirements, and templates to make the applique with the free motion quilting design are included in the pattern. You will find the link to get to the PDF document under this tutorial, and make sure to save it on your computer. And this is what we are going to do today. I will show you how to get the appliques ready, trace Betty Boop's feature on the applique, prepare the placemat, position the appliques on the placemat, quilt Betty Boop and the placemat, sew and quilt the heart-shaped pocket, binding with a French border, sew and fold the serviette or the napkin, and fabric guard against spills. I invite you to join my email list and to receive my newsletter. Just go to my website's homepage. Every month I will let you have a peek at my new project and the ones in progress. And don't hesitate to subscribe to my free YouTube channel and click on the bell to be notified when a new tutorial becomes available. To assemble the top of a quilt or to quilt, I use either my soprano or my tiara from Baby Lock. To do the free motion quilting, I use the Super Bee embroidered threads, 40 weights from monfil.ca, and I like to use the fabrics from Northcott Fabric for all my projects. As for the appliques, I like to use the light steamer seam 2 and the warm white 80/20 for batting by the Warm Company. To make the applique with the free motion quilting design, you will need a light box or a table with a glass top under which you can place a lamp. You will also need a mechanical chalk pencil and some light steamer seam too. If you've never worked with the steamer seam product, check out my tutorial on the subject, and I've posted the link below. As you well know by now, I prefer using batiks for most of my raw edge appliques because they fray less than the other cotton. For my thread selection, I use the Aurifil to piece together the binding and the napkin. The Aurifil is a thin cotton thread, so when you press open the seams, it lays perfectly flat. To do the free motion quilting, I used the Super Bee thread in the 4 colors you see here. To give Betty Boop a cartoonish look, I used the black thread to outline the appliques. Let's get the appliques ready. First, trace the appliques on light steamer seam 2. Cut out the interior of the steamer seam template and keep 3/8 of an inch on the edges. This will prevent the appliques from being too stiff. Apply the steamer seam template on the wrong side of the fabric and press. Cut each applique individually, and finally put the appliques aside for later. The next step is to trace Betty Boop's features on the applique. Some of the features will be free motion quilted, like the eyelashes, the eyebrows, the nose, chin, arms, and fingers. For the lips, though, there is an applique, but you can choose to do them in free motion quilting instead. So to trace, use your light box and place the free motion quilting guide on top. It's in the pattern. And then place applique number 3 on top of the guide. Trace the black lines you see through the fabric. Use a 0.5mm lead pencil to trace very lightly. Now let's get the placemat ready. Cut two pieces of fabric 15 by 19 inches. One is for the background and the other one is for the backing. With a white chalk pencil, trace a line at 1.5 inch perimeter on the background. Then peel off the protective paper in the back of the applique number 3 and place Betty Boop on the background. The left elbow and fingers should touch the chalk line. Add the earrings. The right side must be placed behind the shoulder and the right side as you see it here. Add the bracelet and voila! When you're satisfied with the look, press to fuse Betty to the background fabric. Moving on, we must quilt Betty Boop and the placemat. So first add the batting and the backing. And I will start by doing the free motion quilting on the eyelashes, the eyebrows, the nose, chin, arms, and fingers. Here, because the mouth is a small applique, I did the outline of the mouth in free motion quilting instead of a satin stitch. Because this placemat is probably going to be washed, I will do a satin stitch or a button stitch with a width of 2.0 on the outline of all the appliques to prevent the stitches to unravel. I did the outlines in black shiny Super B thread except for the jewelry and the green of her eyes that will give her the cartoonish look that I was looking for. This satin stitch is not a very good look. But wait, I will show you how to make it better and it will secure the stitches even more. Here, I'm not very proud of that stitching, but you can do it better. Instead of a 2.0 width, use a 1.5 width. It will look much more refined. I will stop here because I want to show you a picture of what I do to make the satin stitch look better. On the left side is just a satin stitch, but on the right side I did a straight stitch on the outside and the inside of the satin stitching. I did this for every satin stitching I did on Betty Boop. I free motion quilted the green of the eyes, the jewelry, and the nails. After quilting Betty Boop, I will do a meandering in the background. If you've never done any meandering before, I will post a link of a previous tutorial to help you out. You will notice that I'm sewing without the heart pocket. It's because it's easier to quilt the background without having it in the way. Moving on to making the heart-shaped pocket. You will need to cut 2 pieces of red fabric and 1 piece of batting using the heart-shaped template that you will find in the pattern. Then take one of the red fabric and trace the free motion quilting design that is also in the pattern, and to trace, use your light box. The next step is to sew the pocket. Place both red fabrics right sides together and add the batting on the wrong side of one of the red heart. Draw 2 dots at 2.5 inches distance apart for the opening and sew the pieces together, leaving 2.5 inches opening free. Because it's a curved piece, make some cuts to help smooth the curves. Turn the heart inside out, close the opening and press. Top stitch really close to the edges and do the free motion quilting on the heart. Put it aside after you're done. Before sewing the pocket, I did the French border because it will give me a better idea where to sew it on the placemat. Cut 2 strips of 3 3/4 inches wide by 45 inches long and sew them end to end and press open the seam. Fold and press 1/4 inch the length of the strip on one side. On the other side of the fabric, mark 1 inch from the edge with a white chalk. So this is what the French border looks like from the back, and this is what it looks like from the front. To sew the heart-shaped pocket, pin the pocket on the placemat and sew between the two dots, leaving an opening to place the napkin. Moving on to the last step, making the napkin, then I will talk about fabric guard. First, cut two 12-inch squares, one in red fabric and one in green fabric. Then fold the fabric towards the inside at 1/4 inch on the bottom of both squares and press. Place the squares right sides together and sew at 1/4 inch seam allowance on 3 sides except for the folded bottom. Finally, turn the napkin inside out, press, then top stitch all 4 sides. It is easier for me to show you how to fold a napkin than to explain it with words, so watch this. While you're watching this, we're going to talk about fabric guard. For all my quilted placemat, I will spray 3 times each side with fabric guard. If someone spills liquids or spaghetti sauce on it, it will not stain and the liquids will pearl. So just wipe it off. After a few washes, I suggest you reapply the fabric guard. So that's it for today. I hope you like this project and that you will join me for my next block of the month. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.